The world today is very out of balance. Spiritual seekers feel this very acutely. Although women are seeking more personal power than they have historically, only 10 countries have granted women full equal rights. Would you believe that the United States is not one of them? And in spiritual communities, women have even less equality. Today, we will ask questions on the subject of women and enlightenment of Rama-Dr. Frederick Lenz, an American spiritual teacher. Rama dedicated his life to the enlightenment of his students, primarily women. Over a series of talks, he asked and answered many questions on this topic, so let's explore what he had to offer.
The subject that I would like to discuss with you tonight is important. It's important because it reflects our world and the understanding that our world has. Why don't more women attain enlightenment? More men than women attain enlightenment. This suggests an imbalance.
First, what is enlightenment?
Enlightenment is the complete awareness of life without mental modifications. Enlightenment is a state of awareness that we reach when our consciousness is one with infinity. Enlightenment is not a state of mind, although all states of mind are contained within it. It is the best of all things, the brightest of all lights. Enlightenment is happiness, happiness in the most profound and yet most simple sense. The pathway to enlightenment is your life. So enlightenment is a journey into light, a journey into self-knowledge, a journey into beauty, reflection, awareness.
What is different about a woman's spiritual path?
It is much easier for women to attain spiritual liberation than it is for men to do so. A woman's subtle physical body accepts light in this world much more readily than does a man's. It seems a curious fact, then, that throughout the short-lived history of spirituality in this world, that there have been very few self-realized, enlightened women. There are a number of reasons for this, and whether you are a man or a woman, it's essential that you understand these reasons and accept them and utilize them. There is no difference between men and women on the deepest levels. Each one of us has a soul, a jiva, a self. That is to say, beyond the surface, there is a particle of being which is larger than eternity. It is neither masculine nor feminine. It's both. The subtle physical body of a woman conducts light or vibrates with light at a different rate than that of a man. The subtle physical body of a woman is much more pliant. In my estimation, it's much easier for a woman to absorb and retain light and to change. And that's the most important thing in self-realization and enlightenment, is that ability to make tremendous and rapid transcendences, to constantly change and reshuffle ourselves again and again.
So if women can attain enlightenment, why don't more women become enlightened?
Women are essentially much more powerful than men are. The Kundalini flows through them much more readily. The primary reason why more women don't attain enlightenment is that they have a misunderstanding of their purpose as women. Women have a preconceived notion of what it means to be a woman, and this notion is incorrect. This notion has been given to them by our society, history, men, and other women. Everything is reversed in this age. Men appear to be more powerful than women, while the opposite is really true. Women have been taught that they are not powerful. As a matter of fact, they've been given an opposite description, that they are in fact weak. The word effeminate implies weakness, stemming from feminine. Who has taught them this? Men. When you wish to subjugate a people, you have to convince them of their own inherent weakness. If they believe that they are weak, they will not rebel.
What did women do to survive?
Each one of us has a second attention. That is to say, there is another part of our being which is non-physical, which is extremely powerful,
which is capable of doing incredible things. The second attention is developed when we find ourselves in a situation for which we have no solution. The second attention is the occult side of the being. It is the ability to manipulate others, be it for good or ill intent. Women have developed the second attention because they were repressed, because they were manipulated, because they were used as property, as chattels, historically, for thousands of years, and still today in many countries, and even in our own society. In order to survive, women developed their second attention, which men have not evolved. And they used that second attention, and have used it most effectively, to manipulate men. It's caused women to enter into a state of consciousness in which enlightenment is not possible. Women have used sexuality as a method of survival. Now we live in the liberated modern 20th century, and still it's a man's world. No matter what the law says, the law may say one thing, society says another.
What can a woman do to grow spiritually?
For a woman to attain liberation, she has to realize that she has everything she needs within herself. Women have become dependent upon men in our society. They feel that they have to draw power from a man. They build their identities around men or around their children, and in doing so, they do themselves and all women and men a great injustice. In order for a woman to attain enlightenment, she must realize that her true aspect is power. If she thinks of herself as being feminine, in the sense of the term that feminine means weak, gentle, constantly self-effacing, then she's misunderstanding her power and her purpose. The strength of a woman is the fact that her subtle physical body is pliant and conducts energy. It's also the thing that is problematic for her, particularly in this age. In this age, the destructive vibrations are very powerful. And if the energy is very good, a spiritually oriented woman will progress very fast. If it's very bad, it'll be just the opposite. The damage that occurs to the subtle physical body of a woman occurs in several ways. Most of it is sexual. Most women lose their power in sexual relationships. Sexuality is neither good nor bad. It depends how you approach it. But for most men, sexuality is filled with violence. There's this need to conquer, to assert your identity. And it's because men are afraid of the power of women. They sense this tremendous power, and rather than helping to foster it or accessing it, they want to cover it over. They're afraid of their own impotence. But when she draws those forces into herself, by attaching herself to a man who's not very highly developed, then they come into her being, and while they may not destroy his spiritual potential, they will destroy her spiritual potential. Now you must understand there's no good or bad. Men are not better, women are not better. So as a woman, if you're interested in enlightenment, then it is necessary to detach yourself from men till you become much stronger. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to give up relationships and that you can't be married. You can, it's just tricky. There are other factors that contribute to the demise of women in enlightenment. Women themselves allow this to happen. They foster an image of being weaker. They want to be taken care of to a certain extent. They want someone to make decisions for them. They don't want to claim their own power, their own intensity. They choose attachments to the family instead of attachment to liberation. Women have to be very careful of their relationships with men. It's easier to have someone make the decisions for you, but it's not, because then you're enslaved and you don't draw your own power and you become weak. Women seem to have this idea that they always have to be nice and allow people to walk all over them, and this is absurd. You don't help men by allowing them to do that. All you do is fixate them in a bad state of consciousness. You have to learn to be more unattached. There's this idea that women are emotional and men are not, and that's how they act, but actually it's quite the opposite. The way we see men and women outwardly and the way they act in our world and society is not the way they really are inwardly. It's backwards. And that's why not too many people in this world attain enlightenment.
How can we change this?
As a woman, you have to work on power, independence, self-confidence, supporting other women, and not always running to a man for justification, for support. Rather, you have to realize that you have tremendous power in your being, and you can bring that power into eternity. What's necessary is to realize that power is your aspect, to be more supportive of other women in their quest for liberation, and perhaps for a short time to step back from men in relationships, just so you can become complete and whole. All your life you've gained your identity from the men in your life. Now perhaps it would be good just for a time to step back and discover who you are and what you're all about, and discover what it means to be a woman. It's not easy. It's a difficult search. Women don't support other women. They're jealous. They're vindictive. Again, simply because they don't realize that they have enough power within themselves to enjoy other women and appreciate them. It's not necessary to compete over a male. Women should be sisters and unite and pool their energy.
What is necessary for a woman to attain enlightenment is for her to undo everything that's been done. She will have to completely re-examine her life, her priorities, and specifically her use of the second attention. She has to take that second attention, which she's already developed, and use it for spiritual pursuits. We live in a society today where for the first time historically this is possible, where it is possible for a woman now to put aside these devices and to use her second attention to project these energies and feelings and thoughts for enlightenment. You must accept what is real and what is true, and to do that you must examine yourself, your history, and simply start to observe. History has given us a moment, it may not last, where you can, for the first time as a woman, step back from the very things that have given you your success and obtain a much greater success in your life, if you are interested in the world of enlightenment.
Can meditation help?
Meditation is the pathway to enlightenment. Enlightenment is something that is real. Enlightenment is a journey. It's a journey through the 10,000 states of mind, a journey that is not accomplished in a single day or moment. Each time you meditate, you take the journey. Each time you become more conscious, you love more, you feel more, you increase your depth. Each time you gain a happier sense of what it is to live. Meditation is to stop thought, to silence the mind, to move the ego aside, and to simply be still, open, clear, bright, and fully conscious.
So take the time to meditate, to reach within yourself and ask yourself, what does it mean to be a woman? It's not what I thought. And ask eternity to show you and to teach you what it means. Don't be afraid to change. Be open to being something that you haven't been. Again and again and again, you'll change, until finally you become everything and nothing.
Every step you take in bringing about a real synergistic balance within yourself will free you. You'll be happier, complete. Don't expect to be understood by the world. It's not necessary. Why don't more women attain enlightenment? Because of men and because of women, because of themselves, because of ideas, for many, many reasons. There is no blame.
So it's kind of tricky to meditate in this age, in short, and I've figured out a way to do it, to make it easy for you. It's to meditate to music. I have created a number of albums which are designed to meditate to. So when you listen to the songs, essentially you're sitting down with an enlightened teacher meditating with them. Simply listen to the music. Don't get frustrated if your mind is restless. There's a lot of energy in the world and it takes patience to learn how to meditate. Remember, the key to success in meditation is to enjoy it, not to fight thought, but just to listen to the music. Relax. You're not going to learn how to do it in a day, but every time you meditate and simply listen to the music, you'll go very high. You'll have a very beautiful experience. Meditate each day, and your life will get better. You will be happy, free, successful, and eventually you will grow into pure and perfect light, into the world of enlightenment, and there's simply nothing better than that. Please enjoy the music, we made it for you, and grow, develop, and always be optimistic, always be positive, and ignore those who aren't because they're obviously confused and out of touch with light.